Order. Today is Tuesday for our regular monthly meeting. We're going to stand. We're going to have Brother Glenn lead us in prayer. We're going to say the pledge of allegiance.
Father, we thank you again for another day. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings. Lord, we just ask that you be with us today, that you guide us in everything we do, and not just here, Lord, but in every path of life, that we should follow your voice. If we do that, we'll never do wrong. Ask you for your blessings on this great city, this great country. Lord, thank you for being our Lord. We pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Judy, call the roll, please.
Mayor Caffey?
Here.
Mr. Pollard?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Welly? Mr. Wolf?
Here. Okay. Before we move to our agenda, I want to take a moment, welcome Rich to our table, and give you an opportunity. If you have anything you'd like to say before we start, we'll give you that opportunity.
Absolutely. I look forward to serving the council. I look forward to serving the citizens, and also this is a very important seat to sit in. It's one vote, and I just hope that I can do the best for our city.
Welcome aboard. All right, moving on. Citizens' comments is next on our regular agenda. I think everyone, familiar faces, knows the protocol, so have any citizens' comments? He's got it. Let that sleeping dog lie. All right, Rock. Thank you. All right, nothing else? Jerry, you don't have anything, do you?
No, sir.
Moving to our consent agenda, we have one set of minutes that were from the April 12th meeting. Chair will entertain a motion to approve by consent if there's no corrections or additions.
Make a motion we approve by consent the minutes of 4/12/2022.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Let the record reflect then that passes 4-0. All right. Moving on. Under department reports. Doug, this is something you normally have.
Yes, sir. I do have Kathy Lyons here to speak a little bit about some updates for code enforcement. If she can come up, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just want to let everybody know that this week we're starting the new 778 ordinance for the RVs. We'd like to get all the RVs registered by the end of this week, ones that are on construction sites. Basically, all the permits that we did have on the RVs have already expired, so they need to be re-registered. We're going to start tracking the progress of the construction, and we're also going to start next month. There will be a $250 monthly fee that you'll be invoiced, and the payments need to be brought into City Hall, mailed to City Hall. Yeah, that's in here. Sorry.
What's going to happen, City Hall?
No, the $250 monthly payment. Yeah, bring it in. Sorry, that got me all upset. Your $250 will keep going until the end of October, and that's when all RVs will have to be removed off the construction site. Everything will be done by then. Unless you get a CO prior to that, then your RV goes as soon as you get your CO. We also have if we see the progress is not substantial, then we can remove the sticker and make it null and void. So we have to see progress on a monthly basis. in order to keep your RV there. This thing. No, we just want to make another reminder that we do not pick up furniture, appliances, anything like that on the side of the road. So please don't put your garbage, those items out there. We cannot pick them up. The big claw that comes around basically just picks up yard debris. Also, we know that the bears are here, so please make sure you secure your trash cans. And if you use our dumpster, please make sure that you relock it after you're done, because we've seen them take the dumpster and just flip it over. I'm also actively working on getting lots mowed, making them look a little bit better, especially ones that have had houses prior to it. That's the lots that we're working on right now to try to get those lots to look a little bit better around here.
How did the 250 permit as far as number of campers that are, or trailers that are in town now? What's the count?
Right now on the list, we have probably about 10.
How many?
10.
10?
We've only received maybe 2 or 3 of the applications, so the people really need to start getting these applications in.
Is that invoiced from the city, or they just have a responsibility to pay?
It'll be in, we'll send an invoice.
Every month.
Okay, so we don't know the end of the week, is that what you said? The
Yes, sir.
End of this month then is the date for their application?
Yes, sir.
April 29th was the final day to submit an application. Of course, we do have a little bit of leniency should we want to allow somebody who's been waiting on a permit to come in to get started. As long as they're going to be moving forward, I'll review those on as they come basis. But they still have to be gone. It doesn't change the 6-month time frame. It has to be gone by October 31st.
Right.
We were able to clear off several of the RVs that were actually just being stored, that had kind of neglected to unhook them from the sewers and things like that. So we have cleaned up several. There was a lot more on that list. But the letters that we sent out up to this point really paid off. And we have not billed anybody yet. May 1st will be the first bill for the $250.
Okay, questions for Code? Thank you, Kathy.
The next order of business is the fire department. I have Chief Walker here.
Morning, everybody. One that we've started in the last 2 weeks is we now meet every three Mondays a month with Gulf Beaches Volunteer Fire Department to train with them so that should the worst happen, we are actually knowledgeable on the apparatus that they use. They are knowledgeable on the apparatus that we use. Their methods of doing things, our methods of doing things, should they differ in any manner, mean, or form. And it is proving to be successful. Last night I was able to see the Gulf from the top of their 75-foot ladder, which is something that obviously we don't have here, but they have there. And get used to using that and how it operates and so on and so forth. So this is something that's good going forward for both departments. Should we have to go over there with manpower and or apparatus and vice versa. So it's a positive move in that direction. It's taken a while to crack that egg, so to speak. We've managed to do it, so we'll continue to do that, and it's been fun for the first two Mondays that we've been there. As you're aware, the fire department is helping out with the Leave No Trace. We have been up until now patrolling, putting stickers, talking to people, reminding them, and so on and so forth. As of this week, we will now be basically doing patrols from 7 o'clock onwards. Anything that is on the beach and is not, doesn't have its owner close to it, will be removed, brought back here to Public Works. Then they will have to come to City Hall, fill out a form, tell us what it is that they have had removed from the beach by us, so that they don't borrow somebody else's tents and so on and so forth, and we'll give it back to them. It will be here for a week before it is disposed of. And if it's very, very good quality and it may belong to a renter and the people who, or sorry, may belong to a rented property and the people don't know how to get it back again, if it's very good quality, we will keep it for longer with the understanding that, I don't want to go and throw something that looks brand new straight into a dumpster. But If it is not claimed, that's where it goes. And then the only other thing of note that we did in the last couple of weeks is basically to help out with the boat launch. We got together with the city and got some bumpers to put on the two fingers to go out from the boat launch. They have now been attached. We took off the old fire hose that was there and the carpet and so on and so forth. This is just to improve it, make it look better, hopefully do less damage to people's boats should they hit it. And just again, it's another upgrade along with the new fish cleaning station that's coming on board, the ticket machine. We're trying to make the whole place just look better, bit by bit. Other than that, we are continuing with our training. We had another firefighter went and did a 4-day course in low-angle rope rescue, so he can now jump off the side of the building if we needed him to. Hopefully he won't have to do it, but in theory he can do that. And I'm about to go and do a urban interface, which is basically wildland fire and urban interface area. I'm doing a 4-day class on that in June. So training continues on a regular basis for different members of the department. So that's it from me. If anybody has any questions.
So we got one.
Actually, with the Leave No Trace, do they contact the fire department or City Hall directly?
If they come to City Hall to fill out the form,
Okay,
and then City Hall will basically come and find me,
okay.
and if I'm not here, I'll be some other members of the fire department.
We'll have people call our office, so that's why I just want to
Cool.
make sure
Just-
who to send them to.
Perfect. Just send them to City Hall,
Okay.
fill out that form, and then do the return.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And the other report for today is the utility report, Glenn Davis.
Good morning. Good morning. As you know, we've completed our consumer confidence report. It's been approved by the EP, preparing it to send out and also advertise. Last week, we began a part of our sanitary sewer overflow program with smoke testing, something that's neat, something that had good results. We didn't find any leaks. We did find a couple of fittings that the caps were left off of. We notified the customer. That'll help us in regard to when we have torrential rain, it can fill our sewer up. We received the amended consent order from DEP. It's in review now. We've got a few days before we have to address that. I think it's pretty well everything we had discussed with them before, the staff. Also, Garrett Garland has completed his water operator course and he's getting ready to sit for his license. Lift station at 36th Street. We installed 2 pumps we had in-house yesterday. We have been checking on them. We should remove the auxiliary pump sometime today. Also, we retrieved a pump we had in-house, put a little minor maintenance and put it in 7th Street. These were all pumps we had in-house. I wonder if there's anything you would like to ask me, any questions?
Did we rebuild the pumps? We take out the stations, or we just buy new?
We normally try to refurbish them.
We had these pumps in the back, and we were able to ensure that they were working properly before we installed them, so we didn't have to buy any new ones, no sir. This time.
Any questions?
Thank you, Glenn. All right, number 2.
So next is the Employee of the Month. We continue to bring these back monthly. Today, we want to recognize one of our employees in the Public Works Department. Mr. Davis would come up and like to introduce them. We do have an award for him, this gentleman this morning.
Come on up here, Ricky. We've been doing this now for 3 months, and I've had the pleasure of having 2 of my employees in the 3 months being selected for Employee of the Month. Me and Ricky go back a long way. We graduated high school in '99, which makes us, what, Ricky, 39 now?
I graduated in 79.
Anyway, no, me and Ricky, we've known each other for a long time, and it's my pleasure If any of you people have seen anybody out on the side of the road cutting grass, you've seen this man right here. He wholeheartedly, and maybe one or two other people, cut the entire city all summer long. He's just, I can't say enough about how much I appreciate this guy. You have some employees that never give you a problem. This is an example of it right here. He's always ready to go. He's out of the yard, he's doing what, the city wants him to do. And Ricky, I had the pleasure of presenting you a pen and a card. Also, you get a certificate here for a full day off. I know you'll appreciate that. I think he's fixing to get married here coming up pretty soon, so he might need that day off. And also, a plaque to go on the wall. I hope this this goes a long way. Put this up where everybody can see it, because I promise you, buddy, you've earned this. And you just don't know how much I appreciate how hard you work for me.
You just don't know how much I appreciate you too.
There you go, buddy. Now, say a few words for the
I just want to say I appreciate the employees that thought about me and voted for me and everything. And I appreciate Tommy. I appreciate Ken Kennison. And I appreciate Boss Man right here. Because when a person come up to you and say how good you're doing, you want to do better.
That's right.
And
one other thing I want to say.
they always tell me how good I do.
Well, let me say this. We didn't pick him. His employees that he works with selected him to be, because that tells me something. I can sit up here and pick a lot of people, and you know how that goes. They say, well, he picked who he wanted, but we didn't pick him. The people he works with selected him for this, and I couldn't agree with it 100% more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I appreciate the community too. When they see me out there, sometimes they bring me water. And that's a big help to me too. And like I say, this man right here, he has stood by me. And let me tell you, when I go get it, I go get it. You better get out and wake up here I come. And I really enjoyed my job.
And I pulled him out of the ditch a time or two.
Yeah, I really enjoy my job, and I really enjoy the community because they do, And then a lot of times they come out there and say, "Ricky, you're doing a good job." They really do. And then I do beach raking, and then the people that be down there, they'll stop me. Boy, y'all sure keep y'all beach looking good. I say, yes, we have to. So y'all can come back and enjoy it. That's right. And I appreciate everybody. And everybody have a blessed day. And that's right, I'm finna get married now. I'm gonna need a little rain now. Come on. There you go.
That's right, the more you make, the more you spend, right?
And everybody have a blessed day.
Thank you.
God bless you. That was good. Actually, Ricky's out there raking the beach right now for us today.
Need more Rick. Need more Rick. All right, number 3.
Lieutenant Williams with the Bay County Sheriff's Department is here for some updates on some promotions. A lot of gold stars coming.
All right, sir.
Well, the last few tests and everything, my guys have been coming in top 10 on all the tests and everything. Sheriff decided he needed to go ahead and give them a break since they did it 2 or 3 times in a row. So, with that being said and everything, Mr. Brogdon here was promoted to Corporal First, and he's going to be leading us and going back over across the Great Divide to do great and wondrous things. And then he's going to come back and take my job, he said already. So, he's
I didn't say that.
no, it was a lot worse, I heard.
No. You're right.
And then the sheriff
Take his job.
then the sheriff turned around and also promoted Mr. McSweeney here to corporal also to stay here at Mexico Beach and everything. And in the meantime, we're also looking for a replacement for Brogdon that's going to stay up to his caliber of work and community service and everything else.
You'll have a hard time finding that.
I'm going to have a hard time finding that.
We appreciate both you guys, and congratulations on your promotions. And don't stay gone. Don't let them keep you over on the other side of that bridge too long.
No, sir. I'm going over there and having to go back to, working hard again, you know what I mean? It's my first weekend.
Maybe you'll feel the love over there.
Oh yeah, I have. It's definitely getting back to, running and gunning and doing that. It's just the two different types of police work, you know what I mean? But I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I'm thankful for everything, that I've learned out here in Mexico Beach, because I have learned some things, on the area and dealing with certain types of issues and stuff like that, and I've been thankful for it. I'll still be around, so you guys will still see me.
We've said it many times, we're very pleased with our police department and the quality of people that are on the street. We thank you.
Yes.
We thank you.
Then talk. I like to talk.
So the next item, Mr. Mayor, is the Mexico Beach Pier update. I have Dave Hemphill here from BDI.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Manager, Dave Hemphill, Basketball Diamond, drove in from Pensacola. It's 3 hours if you speed, it's 3 hours if you don't. Little update on the pier. If you remember, your pier was 840 feet long before the storm. The pier we're proposing is 840 feet long because it's FEMA funded. FEMA does not pay for betterment. So everything that's gone into this pier is either as it was before or code compliant. Those are the two criteria that they allowed us to use in designing the pier. Plus or minus 15 feet wide. Right at the surf is where we've got a restroom. The restroom is at that elevation because of your flood elevation. Elevation 17 in this location. We have to build a ramp to get up to it. The dirt in that area is around 10, 11. So we utilize the ramp on the pier to get to the restroom. And right beside and right opposite the restroom is the bait house. The bait house is not funded by FEMA. It's in the design. It's got to be pile supported just like the restroom. We hope to get at least the piles put in and the deck poured as part of this job. And we hope that you'll find some funding from the state of Florida or other places to build the bait house, because FEMA is not including that in your contract. One of the things, this is the fourth pier of this design that I've been involved with. The pier in Pensacola, the wood panels lasted 20 years. At Navarre, it was a little over 10. And that's a function of the quality of the wood and the treatment of the wood. And to replace these deck boards is an expensive option. We're going to bid the project with the wood as it was, but we're also going to bid it with an alternate for fiberglass. Fiberglass will give you a much longer life, and it'll be a little more expensive up front, but it'll lessen your maintenance costs. And so we're hopeful that we can get that competitive and FEMA will pay for it, but we'll find out when we bid the job. Of that 840 feet of pier, at the end of the pier, before the storm, you had 6 feet of water depth. We've taken the proposed pier and we've shoved it out at 600 feet over the water, and at the end of the pier, you'll have 15 feet of water depth, which is a good improvement. And everything landward will be a ADA compliant ramp going back to the beach. Status of the permits, the DEP state lands permit went in last October. We've had 2 requests for additional information. I checked with Rachel Grundle at DEP before I came here. She said she's got everything she needs. It's been processed. We're waiting on actually state lands now to turn it loose. And we're hopeful that you'll have that permit shortly. The Corps permit went in just this month, and it requires that the state issue their permit before they'll final process the Corps permit. So it's a sequential operation. We're hopeful we'll get the DEP permit shortly, and we'll submit that to the Corps. You have an accreting beach at this location, so you don't have seagrasses. It's an existing pier. We don't think you have any change in biology. We don't see any endangered species in the biological report, so we're very hopeful that the Corps can act as quickly as possible to get the permit there. After we get the permits, and the plans are finalized in accordance with the permits, we want to bid the job. We talk about bidding it now and having the bids in hand. Can't do that. Number one, FEMA won't fund it. Number two, the contractors will not bid it without funding. They won't hold their prices. Commodities are just has too much fluctuation. So that's really not an option. So we'll have to, again, sequentially bid the job. The lights on the pier are going to be turtle-friendly lights, which are an amber color. The state of Florida has a specific light that they'll approve. You're not going to have a lot of light on that pier, and fishermen are going to have to get used to that. And once your eyes get used to it, it's not too bad, but the first couple of times you go out fishing, it's going to be dark on the pier. And that's just the way the state of Florida is going to regulate it because of the turtles. So, with that in mind, I'm open for questions.
Is this the same design that we've seen?
It is from the beginning. Yeah, it's approved by the state of Florida. FEMA challenged us and said we want a wood pier because you had a wood pier before. The state of Florida says no, a wood pier will not stand up in the Gulf of Mexico. We're not going to approve it. And so FEMA said we will fund a concrete pier. That's what you'll have. Blowout panels, other provisions for protection against storms.
Is the walkway from the land to the water's edge part of the FEMA project?
I'm going to put it in there and ask that it be funded because it's a requirement of ADA. That's the argument to it. You got to be able to get to it from the parking lot to the pier, and you did before.
Would it be a different width?
Yeah, it'll be 10 feet wide. That should be adequate to walk up and down. You'll lose your parking lot during construction because that'll be the laydown yard. Got to need some places. One of the advantages of this type of construction is you do not put any vessel in the water. Everything's top down. Crane goes up on top of it, works its way out, turns around, works its way back, and that's it.
Dave, I believe the roof structure was not permitted.
The state of Florida said that's a roosting site. We're not going to permit that. So if you want to put up some temporary fabric shade, that's a discussion, but no permanent roof structure because of the birds and the fish interface.
Is there work that's involved in that would include the bay house if we have to do that in the future? Is there any supports or anything that has to be done?
I touched that. I think we ought to drive the piles for the bay house, and I think we ought to pour the deck because all that equipment, just to put a crane up there and re-drive those piles, can be $100,000. We need to do that now. Once that's done, conventional construction will build the bay house.
So we didn't include that in our...
Yeah, and we may have to find some funding for that.
Dave, help me on the math. You're 840 feet.
Yep. 600 feet from the surf going seaward, 240 feet coming back.
So the 600 feet that we are over water.
Yes.
Obviously, we weren't over water that far in the old pier.
No, and if you look back at the original design of the pier in the mid-60s, you had 15 feet of water. That beach has moved that far. It's moved over 100 feet since the mid-60s. Was that 55, almost 60 years? You have an accreting beach at this location. It's growing.
Okay, so the beach line is the difference.
Yes. Yeah. When you built the pier, the beach was a lot further back.
A lot further back. So
Yeah.
we're going to be in 15 feet of water, which will put us right at the second sand.
Yes. Well, just past the second
No,
sand.
just past it. That's
Just
right.
past it,
That's
yeah.
right.
So
That's awesome.
you should get better fishing.
Any questions on the pier from council or yes, ma'am?
Just a ballpark ETA of construction time from start to finish?
Once we get the permits and we bid the job.
Right, yes.
They build it in 30-foot segments every week, 30 feet.
Okay.
Because of the sequence of pouring the concrete, setting the forms, you're going to be a year.
Okay.
It's going to take a year to build the whole thing.
That's what I estimated. Okay.
So one more time for the permitting. When we put a sign down there, coming soon,
Coming
and
soon.
everybody thinks that's tomorrow. So help me, while you're on TV and these folks are here, sequential permitting.
Yep.
Where are we?
The state permits have been submitted, they've been reviewed, they're in process, and we're optimistic we're going to get those shortly. The Corps permit had to be submitted after we knew what the state permits were doing. It's been submitted. Once we get the state permits, we'll submit that to the Corps for their review, and then the Corps is basically a clearinghouse for all the federal agencies. They're going to look at this thing for all sorts of things. It's usually endangered species that hangs us up. I'm hopeful, since we don't have any seagrasses here, and I'm hopeful we don't have any endangered species that they want to revisit. Biological opinion did not show any. So the Corps has no clock. They can do what they want when they want. And I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm hopeful this fall. I think once we bid the job, FEMA's going to take that number. They're going to look at it for a while. You have more experience with FEMA than I do, but that's been what I've seen going on in the past. They're going to review that bid and look at it and see if they're going to pay the whole thing or not.
Aren't we in the $7 million?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's our budget. I've talked to several contractors. Prices have not come down, but they expect them to come down. But with the most recent global issues, they don't know. You got a contractor 10 miles down the road that does this kind of work. That's helpful. You've also got contractors from Miami that are interested in your job.
Okay. Well, we appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Any questions?
You mentioned the Corps, but you on the time, but
Yeah.
not the DEP.
DEP has a time clock. We've satisfied their time clock. We're expecting to get a permit here very shortly from DEP.
Shortly on the
Yeah.
state and the DEP, but the Corps sort of.
The Corps does not have any statutory time clock.
Thank you. That's what I.
Mayor, I had a question that
Sure.
was probably directed to the council and probably Doug also. On the FEMA money, that FEMA money is the total that we're looking for. Is there any city money that's going into this? I don't know.
We've got, the battle was with FEMA was fought and won months ago. And that is, in this 3.5 years since the storm, the pier project was one that, and Dave can attest to, I guess the breaking point was when the state of Florida said no more concrete piers on open Gulf waters.
The state of Florida was very helpful.
Very helpful.
In this project.
And it took, so we are, from that, we are going to use, this is not a 428 project.
It's a standard project.
Standard lane project. So
Yes, sir.
We're, FEMA, what it costs is what we are to receive once they approve the concept. And they have done that. They've given us the guidelines to come to this city with a design. But they haven't approved it from a dollar standpoint of whatever the bid.
That's
like
correct.
they said, we're gonna have to, I don't know, we're gonna have to keep clawing. But the hard work is done with FEMA, in my opinion. They're not gonna have a lot of leg to stand on to simply just say, no, if we give them legitimate bids, we should be able to have the funds. The bait house is optional, the roof is not gonna happen, but the structure itself we went through all 10 rounds with them, and I think we're in good shape.
Two things I didn't mention. The pier is permitted to be open 24/7. And the pier is permitted to have no fee to walk on. You can change that, but right now that's the way it's written.
Okay.
You said like they're 15 foot wide, and then you said from the, it'd be 10 foot, is that what you said?
Oh, the
ramp.
ramp from the sand beach to the top, you're 27 feet. I'm sorry, 26 feet. The pier is going to be 26 feet above the water. And you got a ramp, plus or minus 240 feet to get back down to the sand that is handicap accessible.
Yeah, it'd be 10 foot wide. Okay.
No, that ramp will be the same ramp as the
15.
pier.
Okay.
The concrete from the parking lot to the pier itself will be 10 feet wide.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave, very much. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on. I think we should change that sign that says coming soon 2023.
I was hoping to take some questions off of everybody and give us a little more hope.
All right, no, that's great. We to get that project, we all know the value of that, and we've learned to be patient people. Mutual aid agreement, fire department, number 5. Who's handling that? Chief Walker. Okay.
Well, I was approached by Panama City Beach in regards to the mutual aid agreement between our two organisations. And this stemmed primarily from two things. First of all, they came out here after the storm and helped us in one of the task forces. They were in fact the last task force here in town after the storm. And then second of all, obviously the big fire that happened in Bay County recently, to which we did go, although we do not have a mutual aid agreement with Bay County, but we still went because we were in Bay County. We would hope they would do the same to us. So in the last chiefs meeting, it was talked about trying to organise mutual aid agreements between all the entities within Bay County, and Panama City Beach were the first to act. And so I'm bringing this to you today to ask if you would sign it so that we would have a mutual aid agreement between our two cities. Now what that will mean is they can ask us for help, or we can ask them for help. If we are capable of rendering that assistance, we will do it. It does not mean that we have to do it. It is purely a case of we are in trouble, we need help, can you help? And should anything ever happen to us again in regards to a smaller storm and we need short-term assistance, or vice versa, they didn't get hit so bad in Michael when we did, we might be able to go and help them for a day or two just to get them over the hump, so to speak, until the bigger influx of state and federal task forces turn up. So that's really what it's all about. And I did talk, I know there was one question up to Mr. Barber in regards to the get out clause as such, which on this is 30 days. I contacted them and said they were happy to move it to 60 days. But to be honest with you, because we can say no or they can say no, the get out clause is really just a polite way of saying, guys, we need to change this. We're going to terminate this within 30 days or 60 days, and then we're going to come back to you with a new one. But we are not obligated to turn up if they ask us to, if that makes sense. So it's really a case of just asking you, if, as the council, if you are happy for us to be able to do this.
We've had a handshake agreement in place for a long time.
Yeah, I mean they would. I mean, if I rang them up today and said we have a structure fire, we need manpower because it was getting out of hand or whatever, they would do their best to be here. They have 3 stations. They have 15 firefighters and on duty 24/7. They would be able to send us 1 engine and 2 or 3 firefighters from their organisation like that. And it's going to be a great asset to us. Now we're obviously not as big a use to them, but if the chips were down and what happened to us was to happen to them, I'd like to think that we would be in a position to be able to help them out. as best we can. And there's no cost, obviously, to the city, other than if we were asked to go over there, we would have to pay the manpower time. It's not a case of they pay us for going over.
Yeah, that raises one question for me, Clint. Just due to the storm and the number of mutual aid agreements, this one clearly says that services performed under this agreement shall be rendered without reimbursement. That doesn't say financial reimbursement, but it's implied that. Who did they write this?
That is theirs. I forwarded it to Clint.
Yeah, I reviewed it.
And you reviewed
It's a standard, it's what's been used around me.
Well, it's not standard in some of the agreements that we got into after the storm.
No, not those other ones.
So I just don't want us to.
No, I mean, it really isn't a case of us going over there for weeks and weeks and weeks or anything crazy like the Jacksonville one we're dealing with at the moment.
We're starting out knowing that if we go, that we're paying
We can
the
pull
bill,
our guys back as
and they
quickly
know
as
if they
want.
come over here, they're paying the bill. That's
Exactly.
all I just want to say.
Correct.
It's not a.
It's not a case of we're
What we
going
got
to come
into-
over here and we're going to get $100,000 bill,
Okay.
for them for being here for 2 days for admin costs and so on and so forth.
All right. Is there further questions or a motion to approve the mutual aid agreement?
I make a motion we approve the mutual aid agreement for Panama City Pier.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the 30 days, I kind of talked a little bit about that. I think as a city, I mean, 30 days is no big deal. But by the time you get punched in the face, all of a sudden it becomes reality. It's 30 days. Somebody's going to leave. You have 30 days to replace them. I think as a city, we ought to really start looking at 60 days or more. It gives us time. I mean, this council doesn't meet until 14 days into the month. So that leaves us 2 weeks. So I would just suggest that we agree to the 60 or 90 days and go with it.
I talked to Chief Bush about it yesterday, and he was happy for us to change it to 60 days. I actually have a new one already printed, which I've changed to 60 days.
The get-out clause?
The get-out clause, exactly. To him, there was absolutely no issues with that whatsoever. He totally understood it and was happy to facilitate us with that. Should if that's what you wanted. So.
All right, so we just have a motion and a second, and that one amendment, which is very minor and can change that. Okay, so we're gonna change that to 60 days, we're gonna keep the same motion, we're gonna keep the same second. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Yes.
Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, number 6, Dewberry, or Doug, or
We have a task order for Dewberry related to the municipal complex, and David's here for update on this item.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the task order for the 25-acre municipal complex behind us here. This is for the full civil design, taking all the way to construction documents and typical bidding and construction admin.
Have any questions about this? Well, I do. I see all that you're doing, but what concerns me is what is in the excluded from section. And maybe I don't understand this, what it is that, when you say this is the civil engineering part of it?
Yes, sir. It's basically the construction documents themselves. So we'll design the entire site, and then we get to go through permitting with part of the DEP, maybe the Corps, because we've got that canal crossing behind us. You've got your DEP water, DEP wastewater, your water management district for your stormwater, all the permitting.
I have the same question as the mayor. I mean, I look at, let's say, just task E. Task E is permitting for services. That's one of 5 or 6 things that are here. And the cost, let's say, for just permitting services is $11,750.
So-
Yet you go down to the add-ons, the excluded, and it says permitting and permit application fees.
The
That's
fees.
not included in the 11,000.
Those are the fees that the city would, your client would customarily pay to the DEP or the Water Management District.
Do we have an estimate of what those all these costs below would be? I mean, I asked the same question.
Yeah, it's typically based on the type of permit. It's an individual. It could be $750 to $1,500.
Doug, help me, what are we designing?
So where the buildings are going to be laid out, the infrastructure to get to those buildings, everything on the 25 acres and how we get those items there. It has drawn out, maybe Ryan could help a little bit as well, but it was drawn out conceptually before of where they would place these buildings. Once the government decided that we were going to give us enough money, they did a redesign to try to compact those areas to.
Well, have we vetted that again? Have we gone through that?
We only thing we talked about was moving forward because we knew we had to go somewhere and we were going to put the property over there. So we're plans to bring anything back to you guys. We didn't change anything related to building size or scope or anything of that nature. This is really where the infrastructure runs. Does it come from Joe Road? Does it come from 22nd Street?
So I think that ought to be discussed.
Okay.
I think that should be, before we do a task order, that we should, we hadn't looked at that in a long time. I can't even remember.
Okay.
I think we as a council should decide so that we don't get into bringing something back here and us saying, well, why did we do that? I mean, I would think that he would want that moving forward, that we bless whatever it is we're going to design.
I understand your comments. We had a bigger piece of money when we asked originally for the pie in the sky for spread out all over the 25 acres. When that number got significantly reduced for the first determination memo, they started compacting some of those items. I don't really have anything to show you yet. David, is there anything that you can add related to some of those setups? Or I'd be glad to table this, sir, and bring you back some.
Well, I think
pictures.
that's what we should do. I think we should take it. I don't think we're ready to do it. I'm not ready to do it. We haven't even gotten the fund. We're still waiting to know what they're going to say.
We did get the funding to pay for this portion. I
understand, but this portion, that's the tail portion, to me. I think we ought to get the head portion, which is the money, to me. I just think we should regroup on this myself. I'm not.
I'd be glad to bring back some
Let's
further drawings and items.
Yeah,
on the
why
next
don't we do
agenda.
that? Why don't we talk about what it is that we're wanting to, what that $200 and almost $250,000 is going to give us?
Understood.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to table?
Make a motion to table. The
All
task
right.
order.
All right. Any opposition to table? All right, we're going to table that. Move on. All right, number 7. Number 7 is the first reading of ordinance 783. We discussed this earlier. Go ahead.
We had Lieutenant Williams here to kind of go over some items that we didn't really have on the record in our ordinances. And we worked with the attorney to bring forth an ordinance for us to kind of bring that to light, and actually it adds a fine should they break those rules. So it gives the Marty level chief as he requested. So he's here to explain anything we need from that. I also have Clint who wrote the ordinance if there's any questions related to that.
Well, I think we've already brought this up, but most of us were surprised that it wasn't in the language. So, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, just bringing it back up. Like you said, we've advertised for a long time, but we didn't have an actual ordinance that dealt with glass on the beach. And I was just bringing that to y'all's attention, and also the holes and stuff that some people's leaving behind. You can sink a truck in some of them. You know, if it's nighttime and you went for a walk on the beach, you might not be. You'll be there the next day when they come for you. But it leaves a little bit of us, you know, for us to be able to make contact with people. We're not going to write tickets for everything that goes on down there, sir. You know, we've started writing some dogs on the beach tickets, and we've got several of those over the last couple of weeks. But the holes on the beach and the glass on the beach was two things that thought needed to be brought up and everything and addressed a little bit, and that's what we got the ordinance together for.
Gotcha. Well, we say it on the sign. All our signs say, you know, and glass is a problem down there, no question.
Is the only change that you're adding a fine to it? Is that the change?
No, adding the ordinance for no glass on the beach. There was not one. The only place that covered it was the city pier. City pier, you couldn't have open flames or glass on the beach, or glass on the pier.
Somehow that guy, like I say, I was shocked when you brought that up earlier, but
the research.
This just addresses those items that definitely cause a problem. So, any questions about this? Yes, ma'am?
I just, with regard, the leave no trace ordinance has a whole language in there. Yes, you.
I understand.
But I just wonder, is that going to be modified? Are you modifying the leave no trace language with the holes? So you're going to have two ordinances with hole language?
The leave no trace ordinance.
There's a hole language in there talking about if you dig a hole, you must be with it at all times. You must cover it up at the end of your beach day.
Does it say that about the glass?
There's no, sir. Just in leave no trace, it addresses holes in the ordinance.
Well, then I guess we're going to cover it twice.
Okay.
Well, this would take precedent. Yes, sir. And
this would take it.
We had, only thing before we could kind of, somebody left a hole, we would just be like, well, I guess there's a hole. Now we have, if we see them and they're not monitoring the hole, we can take action if we have to.
Okay.
Plus, this will be enforced by the sheriff's department.
You see a man over there, he's waist deep in a hole already, you can go over and talk to him, hey, buddy, get covered up before you leave.
All right, are there any other questions? Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. This is, again, on our agenda for first reading. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to read ordinance 783 by title only.
A request to advertise. Motion to read and request to advertise.
Come again.
I'm sorry.
Request to advertise. Add that.
Oh.
To read
and advertise.
And advertise. Ordinance 783.
Ordinance 783.
All right, has everybody got that? All right, we have a motion to read and advertise ordinance 783. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Judith,
Yes, sir.
would you please read?
An ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, prohibiting glass on the beach and holes on the beach in excess of 2 feet deep, providing for enforcement, providing for a penalty/fine for violations, providing for severability, providing repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. We'll need to add that to our next month's meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Stormwater repair bid.
All right, sir. So in the last meeting, we discussed the stormwater bid that we received that had actually, the prices had expired due to the 90 days while we're waiting on FEMA to review the project. The project is still continuing to move very much forward through FEMA. However, it could be several more months before we receive any kind of answer back. I've got Ryan here to discuss this a little bit if they need to have any items related to that as well. But we were able to split the stormwater bid, and we worked with the city attorney to write an addendum to that to allow us the part that was already approved by FEMA for the first portion of ditch cleaning, as well as pipes kind of cleaned out. The first approximately $1.5 million. So we're able to give a notice to proceed for that portion only until we receive information from FEMA allowing us to go forward with the second portion of this project. So it gets us out of the holding pattern. We discussed it last time. You asked us to bring this back. We did. We feel comfortable with the vendor, who also has already signed this contract, and he's ready to move forward just as soon as we can. And this includes a split of the mobilization between the first and second portion. So we were able to do that as well. So we didn't pay everything up front. We're only paying for the first section.
Other questions about this? After we discussed it. And at that time, we thought it was a good thing to try to get some work done while we're waiting for the wheels to turn. I think,
Yes, sir.
in essence, that's what we're doing. We're spending, because these are monies that we can put our hands on now.
And fully reimbursable, yes, sir.
Okay.
We have it.
So, questions or motion to accept the addendum for Stonewall?
It'd be a motion to accept the bid subject to the addendum. Direct the city administrator.
Thank you.
I'm obviously reading this. This is what I've read, and I did ask a few questions. But is there a master plan for the ditch pipe clean out plan? I mean, is there something that we can task and look at that it gets done?
Absolutely. And we have Dewberry, who monitors that project for us as well. It was all drawn out and scoped, and everything was lined up on what they were going to do in kind of not really a project order, but it's able to be attainable and watched and ensure that it's done. That's what we're asking.
And is that something that the council's already reviewed?
Yes, sir. That was a part of the original process before we bid the item. I have plans that we can show you if you'd like to see, bring you to speed. Yes, sir.
Well, obviously, we're going to vote. It doesn't matter if it's more for me.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so we are accepting the bid per the addendum.
Subject to the addendum.
Bobby, you got it.
Just try. Make a motion. We accept the bid subject to agreement.
You did. Yes, sir.
I did.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Yes.
Mr. Pollard,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
All right. I didn't notice, when can they start? Or they probably didn't say it. When would we expect to see these people here?
Well, I mean, we can issue the notice to proceed.
Okay, all right. But I mean, they're aware that you mentioned.
I met with them. They're working in Tyndall already. They've done other projects here in the city.
Okay.
They didn't seem to be. It was going to take a while. He was eager to get going.
Anything they do is going to be a big help in this area.
And I pressed that. We needed before the rain started. Yes, sir.
Hopefully, there's a lot to be done for $1.4 million.
That's right.
We can pass that along.
Let's see. Project list update.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. So I'll go through a few of these here. Some of them we covered already. The 8th Street restrooms, we received designs back. So this is up on the top of 98, the restrooms. Concept design, just like we had prior to the storm. They're moving forward with that concept to bring back to us to review. The 15th Street bridge repairs. This is the first turn as you're coming around 15th Street. We received 2 bids this past week. We're reviewing those bids, and they've been given to Dewberry today to review so we can keep that project moving forward to fix the guardrails and some of the safety going around the corner. Please remember this does not include any kind of pedestrian bridge around the outside. That's something that we're working on outside of that with the DOT. So this is just to clean up the guardrail and that corner of the bridge. That's all this is. Additional boat ramp parking has been completed. We've actually leveled out that area. We've taken care of some of the growth that was coming through. Tommy and his guys took care of that. They've finished the exit lane. If you're coming out of the overflow, we actually have 2 or 3 trailers that are sitting out there that are already utilizing that. So the sheriff's office is helping direct that traffic so they don't block up our area. The boat ramp parking is kind of moving along pretty well, opening it up as some of the contractors begin to demobilize out of that area. So as we need for the season. Boat ramp expansion, the grant app was turned in April, earlier this month. There's supposed to be an award sometime in September, and then in November we would actually get awarded the funds should we receive that. That would add that extra lane onto our boat ramp. So we've done everything in our power to go forward with that project. We're just waiting to hear. The bypass pumps, Dewberry is working with our staff, and they're working on a design. They're revising some of the comments from some staff members with Dewberry to make that work the most appropriately for the city of Mexico Beach. So that project continues to go, which is a FEMA project. Canal dredging, good news. We finished in our deadline time. I think they were about 9 spoonfuls short, as the mayor said, for getting everything out of the canal. And Crowder Gulf did an amazing job through this process, as well as Dewberry and their monitors, for all the staff that's working on that project. So they got everywhere they were supposed to get and all the debris that they were supposed to get out, and they're actually demobilizing now. Jim and his team from Crowder Gulf are starting to move everything out of the canal, get it out of our way. And it's like they were never here when they get done, supposedly. So we'll see how that goes. But kudos to those folks. Of course, we've not paid for it all yet. So we're working on processing those payments. The citywide stormwater repairs, we talked about that on the agenda already. Thank you for the approval to move forward on that. The citywide street paving, we're doing a little bit of cleanup with a vendor. They came back and finished up some of the dips on the sides of the cross streets and things of that nature. They fixed several of the driveways. Some of them weren't fixed to our liking, so they're supposed to either come back and continue to fix a few of those, but in the meantime, our staff's going around with some of the crush and run items that they have. That some of the driveways on yards that didn't have a real driveway, it was a gravel driveway, needed a little more drop-off repair, so Tommy's staff is addressing that up and down Maryland and several of those roads over in that area, so our staff is working on that as well, so we make that better for our residents.
My question on that is that on the city's part or is that on Piggett's part?
Piggott did is probably as much as I'm going to get out of them. I might get a little bit more. We're ready to be done with this, so our staff is using some of their product to finish up that. They've had some product at the boat ramp that we're utilizing to fix some of those as well, and I've made it clear to those Piggott folks that we really want them to do that, but we can't wait, so we're trying to move forward. So yes, sir. And all their equipment should be getting mobilized and getting out of here. We can move on with our lives from those folks. I am working on a bid to bring back, or a couple bids to bring back to you folks related to the striping of some of the roads. Now that they're done, that was not part of our bid with Piggott. That's a separate bid that we have to do, and we can work on reimbursement for that. So I'll be bringing that back at a later date. The dredge purchase, you can see, expected delivery in December of 2023. The jetty, we received some requests for information from the DEP on the survey sketches. Dewberry is working on that now related to some of the underground rocks and things of that nature, so that is moving. Manhole covers waterproof. We've issued a notice to proceed. That company is beginning to start mobilize to come in and work on those manhole covers throughout the city as well, so that is in process. The marina boat ramp pavilion fish cleaning station. Currently, the fish cleaning station at the boat ramp is they're framing the table currently, so they will be able to bring the table in soon. Submitted tabletop drawings for 4/29, so we should have that pretty soon for that fish cleaning station. They could get that in place. The boat ramp, the pavilion, the roof is completed. They're staying to start on 4/28. Handrails and cabling submitted for 4/28. They're hoping to have that started. Exterior doors, delivery anticipated this week as well for the doors, which is great. And the siding is supposed to start at the end of this week or the first of next week around the outside of that building, so it'll start to take final shape. Sidewalks are scheduled to come in on the 29th as well, so a lot of work later this week, weather permitting, and electrical and plumbing to start to trim out next week for the boat ramp. So that thing will start taking shape, and we'll be using it sooner than we know it, I feel like. The canal pavilion, the framing material is expected delivery later this week on the 29th, and framing to start next week on the 3rd. The concrete work is continuing to get that formed up and squared away, so that pavilion is moving along. The progress is noticeable. You know, of course, we all want it done yesterday, but it is moving along, and they're staying on time. So that's those items, those three. The boat slips. We're working with Dewberry on some current new designs in the works. We're discussing that item with some possible lifts, and so we're keeping that item moving. Parker Park. So the new designs have been configured. We're working on some bid options on how we bring that back to you guys so you can see that related to the placement of the bathroom, so that we can keep the FEMA process moving forward for the sidewalks, the bathroom, as well as the fencing. Parker Park Waterway is basically on hold. We're waiting to see if we have some options with the Sweetwater development, should that take shape or not. So we'll bring back more information when we have it there. Thank you to Dave Hemphill for the pier update this morning. He comes quarterly to kind of keep us in the loop, so I know you guys get more questions than you can imagine on the pier, but I appreciate his update as well. The Police and Fire Municipal Complex, thank you for the information on the task order. We will bring that back along with some designs that we have already in the works that shows you where things would be placed in that thing, and we can review that task order at a later date. We did have a conference call this week with the Department of Emergency Management on the new site. It's actually moved on to environmental review, so the process is moving forward for the relocation, which is why they pulled back that determination memo. So they will be going through those dollar figures in that item. So Ryan and I spoke with Jose at the Department of Emergency Management yesterday, and it's got a really good move forward on that. So that's good news. The street lights.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, what? You spoke with Jose yesterday. It was with the state. And repeat, help me, or fill me in again on where we are.
So there was a gentleman who was out with the CRC for a while, who was part of the FEMA review, and he is back. He's actively been reviewing our plan again. We were nervous that it got kind of put on the back burner. We stayed after those folks. Jose is with the DEM, and he actually met with the gentleman, David, also yesterday before he spoke to us, and that item has been moved forward. Maybe Ryan could explain a little bit about the direction of.
Is that going to come in your report?
He was not.
Oh, you're just here as a spectator.
Yes, he didn't have a report. He can answer any questions you have.
Well, I want to. Well, then he got it.
Come on up.
I want to understand that.
So what happened to elaborate a little on what Doug's getting at is we talked to Jose. He said that basically they have to get an environmental approval through the FEMA EHP to kind of approve the site over there. I don't think it's going to be any issue, and Jose doesn't think it's going to be an issue either. They're basically looking at like wetlands and stuff like that to make sure we're not building in there. So that's kind of the next stage that Jose said they're going to move it over to environmental, get that done, while they're also trying to go back to CRC and rescope it as a relocation. So the gist is they're, in my mind, like the real takeaway is they've kind of moved it a step forward, but it's like a lateral step forward, that they're trying to do this other environmental review now also, which they were going to have to do no matter what to do it as a relocation. But in my mind, it's not like they're really taking an actual step forward, unfortunately. So, you know, we're still in the same spot as we were last time.
But it's set in the CRC just like we were fearful it would when we got the determination of it. We've had no contact with it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is we haven't really moved it forward. We're still having to we're still in the mode of trying to press them to get the rescope.
What does Jose say about that?
Jose is saying he's trying to do what he can on his end, but you know, in my mind, we have to keep on them about it because I have.
Well, have we made any contact with the FEMA people?
Well, we don't have direct contact with the FEMA people on this.
We got the direct contact with the people that showed up here in the city.
Well, that's true enough, for sure.
We've got them.
Yeah.
Have we talked to them? Have we pushed any?
I did not at this point, because there was a gentleman who was out on leave, and they speculated medical. They didn't say. He's back, and as soon as he got back, he got back on top of it. So I think Ryan was going to say that they they're waiting on the state to say, yes, it's a go in this area so that they can push forward with CRC? They wanted somebody else to say yes first, so.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I'm generally not pleased with how it's kind of gone back and forth on their end. But I'm not sure what else we can do other than keep kind of pushing them on it and say, we gotta get this resolved, we need you guys to rescope this project. And we've had that conversation this week, yesterday, so.
2 weeks ago, I have it often. I don't want to fall in the same limbo that we fell in for 9 months when the last person was terminated and we didn't have anybody to do it at all. So I think that I did that, keep it on the wheels. Ryan and I was speaking to him last week and this week. And I understand what you're getting at about maybe we need to reach out to some of those folks, the Region 4 director that was here, administrator, not just FEMA, but I do have that contact information.
I think we have reached, and this is my personal opinion, or my involvement, that now is not the time to be concerned about somebody that's out on, I think we deserve more than that.
If it wasn't the David Lucas, who's the guy that makes the decision on the money, and that it moving forward, that I would agree with you, but that's who it was. That was David Lucas, who took over our account because we weren't getting the services that we needed before. He got it cleaned up to get that other determination memo, and then got it back. So that was the gentleman.
If I can throw this out, maybe what we do, Mayor, is we just talked to Jose yesterday. He's saying he's trying to push by the end of this week. I told him too, I was like, we're going to harass you at the end of the week to get an answer back to see if we've gotten anything. He said, yep. If we can't get the answer we want by the end of this week, then maybe we can get you on a call and press a little bit more.
We need to be consistently firm that we this is the same project we've been talking about now that we waited on the CRC for dang near a year.
Yeah.
Why would we want to back off now? I don't want to do that. And I'm not saying that we are, but I don't think.
I'm with you on it.
Okay.
We still have our foot on the gas, so trust me.
Well, let's see what we hear from David then.
Yeah, I think if we see what Jose says by the end of this week, and if we don't, then we redouble our efforts and try to get some sort of different answer out of it. But I agree. A month ago, I would have said we still need to give them more time, but now we've given them a little more time than that. And
I agree.
we got a problem.
All right. Then let's talk toward the end of the week.
Yes, sir.
All
right. The streetlight process, I did receive several of the lights have gone in around the city. We received the photometric plan that we've been waiting on for Duke Energy, and I have a meeting set up to meet with Danny and Tommy, the review of where we were missing lights in the city. So we're getting that moving forward. We'll continue that project. Sunset Park.
The street lights at the end of the canal, and when is that on the?
That has been turned in and approved, and we're on the agenda to be installed. I don't have a date for install yet. I'm waiting on that. But it was requested and signed off on, and it's in the queue. That's what I've been told. Sunset Park, we have an estimated completion date of Memorial Day weekend, which is extremely exciting. They're on track to have that done, and that is their goal for that. So we're thinking about some sort of event there based on the timing of that completion. So the surge gate for the canal, Atkins is working on an RFQ to go out so we can get some qualified people to look into this item for us to bring us back some more information. Under the Palms Park, as is the 8th Street bathrooms, the bathroom concept was approved, and we're working with the architect on the design to bring you back some information on that. We do have the funding approved for the exercise equipment. Dewberry started to work on that item as well as the layout. However, we do want to bid this out as one complete project, so instead of piecing it together. The last one is the underwater debris removal. The NIFWIF is reviewing phase 2 for this application, so that project is still in the works.
Question? Yes.
Hey, Doug. You talked about the boat ramp. I was just there last week. Chief was doing the bumpers, which was great. Something needs to be done on the right side where that dirt keeps washing down in the sidewalk. It ain't only the sidewalk that's getting screwed up. You can't walk your boat without going through mud. But then it drains into where the ramp is, and that ramp is getting full of sand. I mean, that's an ongoing problem now for a long time.
agreed, and Tommy has, if you'd like to speak on it, we've
Yeah,
addressed this.
Ross, where Crowder Gus is in the process of moving all their pipe and stuff out of there now. We're aware of the sand down there. Me and Ken talked this morning. Once they get all their equipment out, we're going to clean that up, and I think we're going to cut that end down a little bit so that it's below the wall going around,
Okay.
and then resod it. And I think that's going to help keep that from washing down on there. I think we've got a plan. We're going to try it anyway and see if that don't correct that problem. But right now they're moving all their stuff out of there, so we need to let them get out of there where we can get in there and clean it up.
Okay, thanks.
I did notice yesterday they graded along where the cars park on the side if they're unloading to get into that. They do have a plan to bring back some millings to put on top of there. Crowder Gulf does, because we had put millings there once, but those have kind of got worked over with all their vehicle traffic on there. So I hope that we were able to control that runoff. Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Any other questions? Okay. Clint, what you got for us?
I don't have anything today, Mayor.
Okay. Well, Doug, you're up again.
Little break would have been all right there, Clint.
Clint did help you out.
I do want to recognize our fire department. I know they've spoken a couple times. The chief was here a couple times today, but the mayor did receive an excellent letter from one of our residents who utilized their services this weekend, and he was just very appreciative of the way that they help their family. And our fire department does go above and beyond, just like every other employee here. And you saw Ricky today getting emotional. Our employees are family, and they love everything that we do here. And I'm just as proud to be a part of it as I can be, and kudos to the fire department. And I did pass this letter along to the staff that was recognized in there and for their file, as well as for the bulletin board. But thank you very much to the residents that reach out to say thank you. You don't have to do that, but when you do, it's very much appreciated. Our next coming event, we've had some great events here recently for the staff has helped put together, as well as the special events, and we continue to move forward with exciting new items for us here in Mexico Beach. The next one on the agenda is the Arbor Day tree giveaway. That will be this Saturday at Parker Park, April 30th. We're going to give away, we have about 225 or 250 trees that are showing up this week that have been donated by the Langdale Company out of Georgia. There's everything from, there's a bald cypress, a loblolly, which is only like 25 or 50 small pines, as well as an oak that's in there as well. So all those trees will be given away to Mexico Beach residents. You can pick those up at Parker Park. It'll be more of a drive-through situation. We do have a paper that'll go along with that about how to plant them, and some information related to the trees that we're actually giving away: bald cypress, loblolly pine, and sand live oak, excuse me. So how to put the soil and how to prep them appropriately. That'll be just passed out that day. I do want to make sure to recognize all the residents to know that if you come out, just show your proof of residency, which is your driver's license. Pick up your trees. If you have multiple properties in town, you'd like to pick up multiple trees, just show proof of that, and they'll be able to receive those trees. I hope to give them all out and get them in the ground. If there's some that we don't give away, we'll plant them on some city parks and that and so forth. But it should be a great day. If I could talk Tommy into giving out some hot dogs, that might attract some more folks. But we'll be doing that to get that going. Other than that, the staff is doing an amazing job. We're getting ready for our season, and thank you for the opportunity to work with all these guys and you all.
Okay. That's Elizabeth, Jerry Gazer.
Two little night things. We do. I seen the where they go this morning to the store, and I seen the 4th of July.
Yes.
I mean, she didn't even go stand up and tell us about it. I mean,
Would you like me to?
I mean, do I have to read it on a piece of paper?
I'll come up.
I'm sorry, but I mean, I missed it.
So the special events for Mexico Beach is gearing up for the Best Blast on the Beach, our fireworks show, as well as our Sandy Shoe 5K fun run. We have spoken to both fire and sheriff about the run. Registration is open. It'll take place at Under the Palms Park, same location, same route for the past 20-something years. And then fireworks show, we shot off at the end of Canal Parkway on the 4th at 8:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I want to hear you instead of reading about it.
I'm glad you can read.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not helping you at all, baby. Don't look over here.
But I would like to say that Tammy couldn't be here, and Judy and Vanessa took over. I'm proud of our city. Y'all do a good job. Or do a good job.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad Rich is here. We're glad we got a new council today. So
Thank you, Gary.
maybe we had others in. Yeah. That's it.
I got one thing, I mentioned this to Doug, but I want to mention it to the council. I talked to him about golf cart utilizing Parker Park. And I think that we have an opportunity, if we want to pursue it on these days when we have farmers markets. The whole east end of town can get to City Hall. And the roadblock is from 19th Street to the park. And I was hoping that we might, our police department, or that we would try maybe on, just to see how it works, if we would allow golf carts on our sidewalk from 19th Street to Parker Park on those event days, to see how people travel, and would we get more traffic? Would we create a way for people not to feel like, oh, I'd like to pull in there, but it's too crowded? Local folks. So I don't know how the council would feel about that. I've said this before. I see in Gulf County that they travel that. Doug got me straight on that. I didn't realize their multi-use path through, DOT put their sidewalks in. And we put our sidewalk in. And I know that during our permitting, that they made it clear that they were not, quote, for a golf cart. But I just thought I'd throw that out and see if we wanted during the farmer, I don't know how often is it twice a month?
Second, fourth Saturdays, yes, sir.
Okay.
And other events too.
It could help with,
Yeah, I mean,
tree
if
giveaways.
we just did it as an event time, and we didn't, I just think it's a good way to test to see if people would utilize that. And that one, it's only, what is that?
4 hours.
No, but even the distance on the sidewalk is maybe 150 yards, maybe, give or take. But anyway, I'm throwing that out because we preach about, and we have to, because DOT made a big deal out of it. But I think if we don't internally say anything and we allow it for those events, something to think about, and we could advertise it as that. I mean, or let at least our local folks know.
I haven't spoken to Marty yet about that, but I did want to talk about the possibility of strengthening that side of the sidewalk. It's pretty loose there by Parker Park.
It's very loose.
So we would have to work on that as well. I hadn't had a chance to speak to Tommy either, but I would like to, I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a great way to get more traffic over there and have less parking in the cars in that area.
Yeah, create better.
And the people in my little town, well, they could come through and come through Joe Road and then come to the city hall, and then you could really.
That's what I'm saying. On the east end of town, it would only be a short piece of the sidewalk. The exposure would be.
Yes.
Maybe we figure out a way to get to, I mean, people tell me all the time they'd love to get the Mango Marleys on their car or something. So if we're always looking for a way to get that to the back door to there, but I'll continue to work with the sheriff.
It's definitely taking a bite out of the elephant, just taking that small little.
Yeah, just one piece. I mean, and again, not just for the events. And I know that can get a little confusing, but we ought to be able to figure that out.
Well, we have to be careful with that area in front of those condominiums. 'Cause that's a
That's right. We'd have to be aware that those people have to cross the road. But I think we could navigate that if we have people using their golf cart that have some, I think it wouldn't be at night. It wouldn't be, I just think, well, look at that.
Yes, sir.
Anybody object to Doug trying to work something out with that? All right. Bobby, you got anything?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
First off, the Easter event was great. Everybody participated in it. It was super. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But something I noticed was people walking around with the dogs. I also noticed going down 7th Street, across the street under the palms, is a huge area. I would like for the council to ask Doug to investigate putting in a dog park for our dogs. We don't allow them on the beach. And there's a lot of people that walk their dogs and all, and it'd be a perfect place for them. It's not that expensive, I don't think. It'd be a very useful thing for our citizens. So I'm kind of throwing it out to y'all to see if you want Doug to investigate a little more on the cost and doing it.
Dog park's a big deal.
Where did you say that?
Across and under the pond, that whole area, it don't have to be the whole area, but you got,
Where we park at for the runs and 5Ks, they park down that. You said where you thought you might want to.
nobody parks in there. There's a rail that keeps people.
Yeah, that
from
rail
parking
just
there.
past there where, I mean, you could.
They do park there.
Overflow. They do park there.
They don't park there routinely for the park.
Okay.
For an event there, they do.
Well, that's what it is.
For the event.
And this will be year round for the citizens.
Hey. I'll be honest with you, I don't know about that location for a dog. People that come here, but I think a dog, somewhere around here we should have one, because it's a big deal. Maybe just look at what options are available.
Well, it's a good free location. I mean, we got.
They built one up at the Veterans Park, I believe.
Yes, they did. They sure did.
That one and
They
see
sure did.
How that footprint is.
Anything else, Ron?
No.
Doug, you gonna look around and?
Yeah, I'll try to find some locations for it.
Just give us
size,
some
pricing.
jump in, we think of it.
I think it's
I
great.
don't know a lot about it, but I'm like you, I don't think it takes a man for that.
No, it's not much. Fence, maybe a little run or whatever, so. Maybe a table for somebody to sit at. So,
Rich, you have anything?
No, sir.
All right, motion for adjournment.
so moved.
Thank you everyone for coming.